Well, guys, the controversial immigration white paper has come out. It's an 82-page document which suggests a lot of policies which are going to change in future with regards to the immigration in Great Britain. So brace yourselves. Well, this white paper has sent shivers down the spine of a lot of people. I will just talk about one of these rules. You can go and read this document from the gov.uk website if you have time. It's 82-page document. But I will talk about one specific policy which is going to come in place after it all becomes law. And that rule is the 10-year rule, which applies to the working visa holders in this country. It says that you will have to spend 10 years, which is 5 now, before you qualify for the settlement in Great Britain. A lot of people who are already in this country are now very confused and understandably very concerned because they don't know whether this rule will apply retrospectively on them too, because if it does, all their hard work and all their plans will go in the drain. Well, this rule to me is a lot of bollocks, and it looks like a desperate measure from Labour to counter the rising popularity of the Reforms UK, who, as you know, Nigel Farage's party and very anti-immigrant. They want to send people home without having any trials or without any sort of problem. They just want to push people into the planes and deport them to wherever they want them to be. Well, Labour has not done that bad. They haven't actually announced that they are going to load people into the planes and send them to a different continent. But this immigration white paper is a huge swing from their inherent policy of being fair. And I think this policy, this white paper, is definitely not a fair thing as we expected from Labour. As an immigrant, I always thought that Labour is the best party which supports the immigration in this country, a fair immigration in this country. But Labour being very unfair in this one has casted doubts in my mind. I tell you one thing clearly is that if you apply this 10-year rule, I'll tell you Britain will become very unattractive for the professions around the world. It has already become very unattractive because of the rising costs, because of the attractive opportunities in other countries. It's already not the favorite destination of a lot of professionals around the world, but still quite popular because Britain has one thing, which is that they offer the settlement after 5 years. A lot of people come have come to the Great Britain with a promise to build a life here. They've brought their families in, they've spent thousands of pounds just to get here. The controversial NHS surcharge, they pay that, they pay their national insurance contribution too. So they're sort of being double taxed to live in Great Britain to access the health services, which is in shit, as you know. A working professional doesn't really bother going to the doctor these days. I don't go to a GP myself, even though if I'm not feeling very good, I just try avoiding it because you cannot get an appointment. So these people are coming to this country with a promise to build a life in this country, and in return, we're now telling them that, sorry, mate, you have to live here 10 years before you are considered for a permanent settlement. I tell you one thing, a lot of people who are on working visa in this country, they're in jeopardy, they are concerned, rightly concerned, but there's one thing they're sure about. If this rule becomes a law, they will not think twice before leaving Great Britain. And as you know, we are a service based economy. This economy always needs professionals. We are a big economy. Our service industry is always looking for people. And without the immigrant force, unfortunately, we do not have enough people in this economy to fulfill these positions. We are always asking for investment in this country. The investors will come here, yes, because yes, we are a big economy. People will like to invest in Great Britain, and I hope it remains that way. But if we do not have the workforce, how are we going to ask people to invest in this country, how to expand their business in this country, if we simply do not have enough people who can work for them? A lot of investors, they also rely on the immigrants. I myself work for a firm which has few people working for them who have come here on work visa, simply because we could not find enough qualified people to work for us. And in turn, this sort of rule will affect our business, and likewise a lot of other businesses in this country. And we will have a catastrophe where, you know, uh, people will be advertising, nobody's turning up. I give you an example. I work for an organization which works financial management for other big organizations, and a lot of these companies cannot find CFOs, the chief financial officers, because there aren't enough qualified candidates in the pipeline, in the system. So we in turn making money out of that. But this can only get worse if British government is sort of giving a signal to the professionals that you are not welcome in Great Britain. One thing which this policy states is you will have to earn the right of settlement. This is sort of a privilege for people, and it is sort of something which you have to earn, and you have to show you're contributing to the society. And they haven't really specified what sort of contribution they're looking for from these people, because these people are simply coming here, spending a lot of money just to get here, paying their taxes, working hard to build a life in Great Britain. Isn't that enough contribution? What else do you want from them? Do you want them to paint your roads, clean up the River Thames, or work voluntarily for NHS? Because you are always running out of people. There are queues in the hospitals. The emergencies are overcrowded. What do you want them to do? The Prime Minister should clarify this. Sorry. The other thing which I do not understand is this 10-year rule. Who has suggested it? I mean, if someone has come to this country, paid their taxes for 5 years, what else do you want from them? You need to specify. And also, you need to clarify if this rule would retrospectively apply to the people who are already in the country. Well, this question was asked in the parliament today by one of the MPs from the Home Secretary, and Home Secretary was unable to answer this because she was not herself sure how this rule will come into place and how this rule will be applied to the people. This is, something which has bamboozled me because I tell you one thing from my experience: British system, the British immigration system has had an inherent problem of treating everyone with one stick. I give you an example of a controversial, highly skilled migration program which was in place about 15 years ago. And I tell you with my experience that I know a lot of people who took advantage of that visa and now are driving taxis or working for supermarkets. They are definitely not highly skilled, but those people were allowed to live in this country, and eventually they got the settlements as high skilled migrants. I have no problem in government tackling down on illegal immigration. I back government on that. I back government on tackling down the fake asylum seekers and trying to reduce them. The thing is, when Britain needs people, it just opens the floodgates of the immigration. A lot of people come in, they abuse the system, and when they see the results of that, they get shocked, and then they start clamping down on everyone, regardless of their contribution or their skill or what they bring to this country. You cannot treat a doctor, engineer, an IT professional, a lawyer, an accountant same as an immigrant who has come into this country and faked themselves to get an asylum. You cannot treat everyone with the same stick. You have to make this system a bit fair, a much robust system, which will, you know, judge people according to their skill, according to their contribution, according to their expertise, what they bring to this country. Not everyone is here to take advantage of the system. People are here to contribute positively. And this country has seen a lot of immigrants who have made positive contribution. You go to any multinational company in this country, majority of the workforce is immigrant, because Britain has been a fair country. People love to settle here because our society has tolerance. Our society has opportunity for everyone to flourish. And if we take that away from the people, this country will no longer sustain its values, which is it proudly represents itself in the world. Thank you.